The spark that shakes the galaxy in a quiet colony world at the far edge of human space. The air was warm under two golden suns. Children laughed in the dusty streets, chasing each other between market stalls. Merchants called out prices for fruit and bread, the smell of roasted grain drifting through the air. It was a normal day, the kind where no one expected anything to happen. Arya, a small human child with bright eyes and messy hair, sat on a low wall near her home. She held a small, wooden toy ship her father had carved for her. She imagined it sailing through the stars, visiting strange worlds. Her laughter echoed down the street, drawing a few smiles from the passing neighbors. High above, a shadow moved across the suns. At first, no one noticed, then the shadow grew, stretching over the whole marketplace. Heads turned upward, voices fell silent. The black shape was unlike any human ship, sleek, sharp, and shaped like a dagger. Its hull shimmered as if it absorbed the light around it. The symbol of the Galactic Empire burned red on its side. A deep hum rolled over the colony, rattling windows and shaking loose dust from the rooftops. A ramp extended from the underside of the alien craft. From it descended soldiers in black armor, their faces hidden behind silver masks. Each carried a weapon that seemed to hum with deadly energy. People froze, unsure whether to run or stay. The soldiers marched in a tight formation, their boots clicking against the stone streets. They stopped in the center of the market, scanning the crowd with cold, mechanical precision. One of them raised a strange device that emitted a thin beam of blue light. It moved from face to face, scanning each person. The device stopped when it reached Arya. The soldier holding it stiffened. Turning to the commander, taller and broader than the others, stepped forward. He pointed a gloved hand at Arya, his voice echoing through a built-in speaker. "Take her!" Gasps rippled through the crowd. Arya's mother ran forward, shouting, but two soldiers grabbed her and shoved her back into the crowd. Arya tried to run, but a soldier lifted her icily, her toy ship falling to the ground. Her small voice cried out for her parents. The sound made the whole street go still. The commander spoke again. "She is marked." No one knew what he meant. No one dared to ask. The soldiers turned and began marching back toward the ramp with Arya in their grip. Her little hands reached toward the crowd, her eyes locked with her mother's. One last time. Then it happened. A flash of white light burst from the soldier's weapon. A sharp, final sound cut through the air. When the light faded, the soldier carried nothing. Arya was gone. The market erupted, screams and shouts filling the streets. The soldiers ignored them, marching back into their ship. The ramp closed, the hum grew louder, and the black warship lifted into the sky. Within seconds, it was gone, leaving only silence. Arya's toy ship lay in the dust. Its wooden hull cracked. Her mother collapsed. Beside it, holding it to her chest, neighbors knelt beside her, but no one had words to give. The suns kept shining above, but the warmth had gone, replaced by a cold that no wind could bring. The colony sent messages to Earth. The Galactic Empire's official response arrived within hours. They called it a minor incident. They said it required no further discussion, no apology, no explanation, no justice. But among humans, memory is long, and wounds like this never fade. On Earth, leaders watched the footage from the colony. They saw Arya's last moments. They heard her cry echo in the silence, and in that moment, something ancient stirred in the hearts of all humanity. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The response of a species that doesn't bow beneath the waves of the Atlantic Ocean. Hidden deep inside an armored fortress, the United Fleet Council of Earth gathered. The room was shaped like a circle, with a single long table of black steel. Around it sat admirals, generals, scientists, and leaders of the great human nations. The air was heavy with silence. In the center of the table, a hollow projector played the recording from the colony. Arya's small figure appeared, her wooden toy ship in her hand. The council watched as the black armored soldiers took her. They watched her cry for her parents. They saw the flash of white light, and the moment she was gone, no one spoke for a long time. The sound of the recording faded, replaced by the steady hum of the projector. The president of Earth leaned forward, her hands clasped together. "This," she said, her voice quiet but sharp, "is not an incident. This is a declaration." Admiral Kane, the oldest officer in the room, stood slowly. He had fought in 3 wars and seen countless battles, but his voice shook with something more than age. "They think we will stay silent," he said. "They think humans will bow." He looked around the table, his eyes hard as iron. "They are wrong." The fleet marshal, a tall woman with silver hair, placed a small data chip on the table. With a touch, the walls of the room lit up with images of massive ships, dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, Operation Iron Sky. She announced, effective immediately, across Earth and its colonies. Shipyards came alive. Titanic construction platforms roared to life. Steel skeletons of warships rose like mountains under artificial suns. Every hour, more ships joined the growing armada. Engineers worked without sleep, driven by something deeper than orders. This was no longer about politics or territory. This was personal. Factories on Mars began producing railguns the size of skyscrapers. Luna's underground forges created new armor plating that could survive direct hits from star cannons. Deep in the asteroid belts, automated factories built missile batteries by the thousands. Each weapon was stamped with the same symbol, a single silver star over a black field. On Earth's oceans, mobile shipyards floated like islands. From their decks, new dreadnoughts slid into the water before vanishing into orbit. Every human fleet base received sealed orders. The words were simple: assemble at Vector Prime. Stand by for war. Within 3 weeks, the impossible had been done. 700,000 dreadnoughts stood ready. Each one carried enough firepower to erase continents. They were armed with weapons that had never been tested outside of theory. Gravity lances, dark matter torpedoes, AI-guided rail shells that could punch through a moon. The galaxy noticed. Allied alien species sent messages to Earth, warning of the danger. You cannot fight the Empire, one said. They have ruled for 10,000 years. Another begged, stand down, humanity. They will destroy you, but the United Fleet Council replied with a single transmission. It was a set of numbers, the coordinates of the Galactic Empire's throne world. No threats, no speeches, no negotiation, only a destination. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Vigilant Star. Through the massive forward windows, he watched the gathering fleets. Dreadnoughts stretched as far as the eye could see, rows upon rows of steel and fire, waiting for the order. In the silent space between the stars, humanity prepared itself. This was not a war for conquest. This was not a war for power. This was a war for a little girl who had played under 2 suns. It was a war for every insult, every wound, every life taken without justice. And when the fleet marshal's voice came over the comm, her words were cold and final. Engage hyperspace drives, she said. The sky itself seemed to tremble as the greatest human armada in history vanished into the dark. The Galactic Empire had no idea that their age of dominance was ending. The day the Empire learned Farron, the throne world of the Galactic Empire, the skies were calm. Silver spires reached toward the clouds, their tips shining in the morning light. The streets below were filled with traders, nobles, and servants. Life in the capital went on, as it always had, in arrogance and comfort. In the imperial palace, the emperor sat on a black and gold throne. He was surrounded by his advisors and generals. They spoke of taxes, border disputes, and the expansion of trade routes. No one mentioned the incident on the human colony. To them, it was too small to matter, but far beyond the edge of their star charts. Something was moving. A ripple in hyperspace. Faint at first, then stronger. Empire listening posts picked it up. Operators stared at their screens, confused. The signals multiplied. From one ripple, 200s, 2000s, 200s of thousands, in orbit above the throne world. The Empire's defense fleets shifted uneasily. They had fought wars before. They had crushed rebellions and destroyed civilizations, but they had never seen anything like this. Then the first ships emerged from hyperspace, massive dreadnoughts of black and silver. The emblem of a single star over a black field burned on their hulls. They appeared in perfect formation, silent and steady. Then more arrived. Rows upon rows until the sky above the capital was blotted out. 700,000 human dreadnoughts stood in the Empire's sky, each one armed with weapons capable of tearing planets apart. The Empire's defense fleet moved to intercept. Their commanders barked orders. Their cannons lit the darkness with beams of energy. The human shields held. The attacks faded against armor designed to withstand the fury of suns. Then the humans fired. Gravity lances ripped through Imperial battleships, tearing them into fragments. Dark matter torpedoes detonated, swallowing whole cruisers into nothingness. Within minutes, the Empire's proud defense fleet was gone. On the ground, the people of the capital stared upward in horror. The sky, once filled with spires and clouds, was now filled with fire. Every building trembled under the thunder of weapons. The Emperor's advisors begged him to flee. But before he could speak, a shadow fell over the palace. The vigilant star, Admiral Kane's flagship, descended slowly. Its massive bulk hovered above the imperial throne hall. A single transmission went out, carried on every frequency. It was only 4 words, spoken in a calm, human voice. "This is for Arya." Then the bombardment began. Precision strikes shattered the palace walls. Towers crumbled. Statues of past emperors fell into dust. The throne itself was reduced to molten slag. The emperor, once ruler of 1,000 worlds, was nowhere to be found. When the guns fell silent, the human fleets did not speak. They turned as one and jumped back into hyperspace. They left behind only wreckage and silence. No demands, no treaties, no surrender terms. Across the galaxy, the message was clear: humanity does not seek war, but if you harm their own, they will come for you. They will not stop. They will not bow. They will make sure you remember. The story of that day spread faster than light. Alien rulers whispered the name Earth with new caution. And somewhere, far from the palace ruins, on a small colony world under 2 suns, a cracked wooden toy ship was placed in a glass case. It was a reminder, not just of what was lost, but of the day the Empire learned fear.